Welcome to the Nuclear Snell channel, where we do shiny and chrome for our metals. Now, there is a misconception in the post-apocalyptic community that this cannot be done because it will not look old and aged and dirty enough, and so on and so forth. And for a lot of cases that is the case, but just like with black or camouflage pattern fabrics, also shiny and chrome metals can be done if you just apply the techniques that I'm going to show you today or something similar. The point is, in almost all cases, and I'm saying almost all because there is always that weird corner case where you just leave it like it is right now, but in almost all cases you don't leave it like now, but instead apply just a little bit of something to it to show that yes, it's shiny and chrome, yes, the person owning it has tried to keep it shiny and chrome, but they were still encountering some exposure out in the wastelands, which has led to some traces on this, to some imperfections. Okay, so I've taped off half of this, so later we have a direct comparison between the two halves, and let's begin. So the first thing you will notice, and this is by the way an aluminum piece, before working with this I have blunted all the edges so I don't cut myself. You will notice that this has kind of a really mirror surface kind of finish to it, and you can keep a part of it, but really we shall begin by applying some sandpaper, and this is like a medium grit sandpaper. We apply that to optionally all of it, but I will keep some parts just completely untouched if I can. So focus all of my rubbing on the middle here, and you see that I go in all kinds of patterns. I'll go left and right, I'll go side to side, I'll go in a circle, so that we're just simulating lots of wear and tear that has happened over time. I will focus on some directions more than the other. For example, I like this direction right now because it gives the metal some nice directioned brushed look. Right now it's kind of a comic style cross of abrasion here, so I don't like this. I'm gonna polish this out again, or rather sandpaper this out. So I just want to make the surface a bit less shiny. Now this is a flat plate. You will sometimes of course have something that has a bend to it, and that can be also used, for example, the more outstanding parts that protrude out would get more wear and tear, but if you have some parts that are in a recess, they are protected, they might even remain really shiny for that matter. So I will now apply really not a lot of pressure, really just barely touching it, and I will move on to a polishing fleece, which is a lot softer than this, so it doesn't leave such scratches as sandpaper, and it kind of just buffs it, but at the same time, because it's not the finest, it also removes some of that original reflective shine, quote-unquote mirror surface, which is not really mirror surface, but it reflects a lot, so like almost. So this makes those scratches that we did before less aggressive, while at the same time also making our reflective surfaces also less aggressively reflective. And by now you can see, depending on how I hold this, that this is starting to have a quality of its own regarding its surface. If you look really, really closely, let's compare to the back side. It says blah here because I forgot what exact plate this was for what it was intended, and now it's a piece of scrap. Ignore that. But you can see that here is just all like super shiny and whatever, while here it has maintained some shininess around the edges because I chose to not go there. Obviously you can choose your spots as you wish. So this is already a progress, but this is not enough. Let's say this was a piece of a robot or an armor or whatever else, a prop that has endured some abuse, anything of the sort. What I have here, and you can see it a bit in the frame, I won't lift it right now. It's, oh, well, okay, fine, I'll lift it. There we go. You have seen me use this technique before. It's just an imperfect piece of steel that I kind of use as an handle. And what I'm gonna do is take this, flip it its face down, and give it a couple of whacks. And I will do so with a rubber mallet. I loosely hold it here so my hand doesn't absorb the shock, but at the same time it prevents it from flying off. Let's give it a couple of whacks. We're not looking for too many, okay? Just a bit. Oh, so I don't know if you can see it, I hope yes, but we have some slight marks here. I'll try to zoom in so you can hopefully see. For example, here. But this is too subtle even for this project for my taste. So I will take, let's say, this engineer's hammer. Again, flip it on the face. Give it a couple of whacks. And here we now have some imperfections. Granted, they are too perfectly aligned in this pattern right here. I kind of messed this up. Let me fix this by more whacking. So now this pattern clearly goes off to one side. And I don't like that I've bent this plate. I will gently, or not so gently, bring it back. Or try to, it didn't work, fine, whatever. I'm not gonna try and make it flat again right now, because that's not the purpose of this video. But as you can see, right now we have some marks. Is this whole piece still shiny and chrome? Well, yes. Does it have some battle damage now, which looks like something has impacted it? Yes, because something has. My hammer. Hammered onto this thing, which is imperfect. So this could also be, especially those smaller ones, could also be like some sort of corrosion or whatever. Some acid that was splashed or whatever story this tells. Because again, costumes is all about stories. And as the next step, I'm gonna take this black paint. This is fabric paint, but you can do it with acrylic. Doing it with acrylic would actually be better. Or you can use some spray paint if you're outside. I'm not outside right now and I can't be asked, so I'm just gonna do this and apply just a tiny bit of this paint and wipe off the rest on my table. And I'll just use my glove to spread it all across our entire surface. And you can see as we spread the paint, those imperfections I've just hammered in show themselves. Now you can also do the hammering on some other surface. It doesn't have to be a gigantic steel block. Point is that you hammer in imperfections of something that will not break from you whacking on it into that usually softer material that you're working with. So right now, thanks to this paint, it looks, well, a bit dirty, which is exactly what we want. So like there is some dirt which again especially stays in those imperfections that we have hammered in. And I will add another layer of paint. It is not supposed to simulate rust, because if I do a rust effect it will look one hell of a lot more like rust than this. But this is gonna look like some dirt that has remained on this piece from whenever the wearer had contact with dirt. I'm just gonna wipe this off. Remember not to do too large splotches. And you can see right now that this is really starting to take shape. Now, what I want to do now is maybe do another pass of this black. I really do not want to use too much here, right? And I'm just gonna highlight a specific area with a bit more dirt. It could be oil, it could be grime, it could be whatever. One more, yeah, perfect. I like this. Yes. Okay, so you see we have some imbalance here regarding the dirt. There is more of it on one side than on the other. Maybe this is even a bit too strong. But the point is This is no longer just a uniform chrome surface. Is this still shiny and chrome? I say yes, absolutely. And now, for the grand reveal, let us together unwrap this. And by together, I mean you watch in real time how I unwrap this to reveal the other side, because I really don't want to cut this video because that takes like twice as much time and it's a short video. So you can just strap in and enjoy the process of unwrapping this. And now, let us compare the two halves. Cool, right? So this is really shiny and chrome, and I have to say, in some stories, for some occasions, even in your wasteland, super duper distressed, whatever, post-apocalyptic worlds, this might have a place. Just don't be a cheapskate and do this while what you actually mean and what your costume actually needs is this. This is a beautiful angle right here, reflecting the blue daylight. So how about that? Now let's say you think this is a bit too subdued and some spots should be more polished. Polishing fleece is the final step. I'm not trying to rub everything that I've applied away, but right here I'm picking, for example, the most raised part and polish it a bit more. And here we go. I think this is cool. If someone makes shiny and chrome costume parts, I hope this helps them, helps you. And if so, and if you like this video, then subscribe to my channel, support me on Patreon. It's linked in the video description. And also in the video description is the Nuclear Snail community group. And I know I haven't been very active recently. I'm having some stuff to deal with, but I'm still here with all of you, and I will still be bringing out videos with useful techniques like this. So, until next time, hail the snail, have fun crafting, and I will see you in the next episode.